The greatest battle you will ever fight is not with another man, not with society, and not even with the forces of nature. The greatest battle is with your own mind, and within that mind, there dwells an enemy so subtle, so persuasive, that millions have surrendered their destiny to it, without even knowing. That enemy is the fear of poverty. Do not underestimate this fear. It has destroyed more dreams than failure. It has killed more ambition than criticism. And it has enslaved more men and women than iron chains. If you doubt me, look around you and see how many people live small lives, not because they lack talent or opportunity, but because they allowed fear to dictate their choices. Pause for a moment and ask yourself this: am I truly free, or am I secretly ruled by the fear of poverty? The truth is simple yet painful. Poverty and riches cannot walk the same road. They move in opposite directions, and whichever path you take is determined not by luck, not by circumstance, but by your decision to conquer or surrender to fear. You may say to yourself, "But I want riches. I desire abundance. I dream of freedom." Yet desire alone is not enough. Desire without the courage to face fear is like a ship with no sails. It may float, but it will never reach the shore. Now listen closely, for here lies the secret. Poverty is not just a condition of the wallet. Poverty begins in the mind, and fear of poverty is nothing more than a state of mind. But what a destructive state it is! It paralyzes reason, kills imagination, weakens confidence, and murders initiative. How many times have you hesitated to act because you thought, "What if I lose? What if I fail? What if I can't afford it?" Those questions are the whispers of poverty's shadow, and every time you obey them, you step closer to the very destiny you fear. Think about it. Have you ever let an idea die because you lacked the courage to finance it? Have you ever refused an opportunity because you doubted your ability to succeed? These are the invisible chains of fear tightening around you. And here is the paradox. We live in a world of limitless abundance, overflowing with resources, opportunities, and possibilities. Yet countless men and women starve in spirit because they never claim what is already available. Why? Because fear convinces them that they are not ready, not worthy, not capable. My friend, fear is a liar, and the fear of poverty is its boldest lie. But let me be blunt. If after hearing this, you still accept poverty as your fate, then prepare to live with it, for that is the choice you have made. On the other hand, if you demand riches, not only financial but also spiritual, mental and material, then declare it now. Make the decision today, because indecision is the silent partner of fear. Ask yourself right now, do I want poverty, or do I want riches? Remember this, riches begin with desire, but they are achieved through discipline of the mind. You must train yourself to think in terms of abundance, not scarcity. You must refuse to let fear sit in the driver's seat of your destiny. Picture a man during the Great Depression. Around him, businesses collapse, banks fail, families go hungry. He has every reason to surrender to despair. Yet within him burns a quiet decision. I will not let fear master me. While others bow their heads in defeat, he sharpens his vision. He holds on to desire, and he rises above the storm. Why? Because fear cannot enslave the man who refuses to believe in it. Now let me ask you again, which man are you? Perhaps you think you fear nothing. That is the most dangerous illusion of all. Fear often hides in silence, buried so deep that you may not recognize its grip until it is too late. You say, "I am strong, I am free." But are you really? Have you never delayed a dream because you lacked money? Have you never envied another's wealth? Have you never chosen security over growth? These are the fingerprints of fear, and they live within almost everyone. The fear of poverty poisons relationships too. How many marriages are built not on love, but on financial calculation? How many divorces erupt when money disappears? How many friendships dissolve because of envy over material gain? Money touches every human bond, and fear of its absence corrodes trust, loyalty, and even love. Think deeply. Has fear of poverty ever robbed you of sleep? Have you ever lain awake, worrying about bills, about debts, about the uncertainty of tomorrow? That restless night is poverty's shadow at work in your mind. But here lies the turning point. You are not powerless. You are both the judge and the jury of your own destiny. You are the prosecutor who accuses your fear, and you are the defender who can defeat it. No one else can fight this battle for you. No one else can replace your decision. So take a deep breath and face the question directly. What price have you already paid for surrendering to fear? Think of the opportunities missed, the talents unused, the joy sacrificed, the friendships lost, the peace of mind destroyed. Add them all together, and you will see that the cost of fear is far greater than the cost of courage. And here is your challenge. Decide now that you will no longer pay that price. Decide that from this moment forward, you will walk the road of riches, not poverty. Yes, it will take courage. Yes, it will take persistence. But the reward is beyond measure. When you free yourself from the fear of poverty, you unlock imagination, you awaken initiative, you strengthen purpose, and you invite abundance into your life. Ask yourself again, do I truly want freedom, or do I prefer the false security of fear? Make no mistake. This is the point of decision. The future will unfold according to the choice you make in this very moment. Poverty or riches, fear or freedom, the road you choose will determine your destiny. So I ask you one last time, which road will you walk? You stand at the crossroad of decision. One road leads to fear, the other to freedom. One road leads to scarcity, the other to abundance. And the choice is yours, right now, in this very moment. But beware, for fear is not a weak opponent. It does not vanish simply because you declare war against it. Fear of poverty is cunning. It hides behind excuses. It disguises itself as caution, and it whispers the dangerous word, tomorrow. How many dreams have been buried under the excuse of waiting until tomorrow? Think carefully. Each time you delay action, each time you hesitate to invest in yourself, each time you refuse to risk because of money, you feed the fear, and what you feed will grow. Now let me ask you this. Have you ever noticed how poverty attracts more poverty? When a man surrenders to fear, his entire being reflects defeat. His posture bends, his speech trembles, his enthusiasm fades, and the world around him responds in kind. Opportunities shrink away from him, for no one trusts a man who does not trust himself. But riches attract riches. The man who dares to stand tall, who acts with courage, who declares his intention and moves forward in spite of fear, draws people, ideas, and opportunities to himself. So I ask you, which energy are you radiating right now, poverty or riches? Remember, the universe does not respond to your wishes. It responds to your state of mind. If your mind is saturated with fear of poverty, you will attract exactly what you fear. If your mind is filled with faith, desire, and determination, you will magnetize abundance. Pause and let this truth sink in. Your dominant thoughts become your destiny. But here is the tragedy. Most men and women never pause to examine their thoughts. They move through life in silent bondage, repeating the patterns of fear they inherited from parents, teachers, and society. They were told as children, money doesn't grow on trees, or we can't afford that and those. Words took root in their subconscious, poisoning their future. Ask yourself now, what beliefs about money did I inherit? And do they serve me or enslave me? Because fear of poverty is not always loud. Sometimes it speaks through your family's voice, through the culture that glorifies struggle, through the false morality that says wealth is evil. These hidden beliefs are chains, and unless you break them, they will hold you for life. Do not deceive yourself. Fear is not conquered by wishing. Fear is conquered by discipline of thought. So how do you master the fear of poverty? First, by recognizing its symptoms. Look honestly into your habits. Do you constantly worry about money? Do you avoid decisions that involve financial risk? Do you find yourself criticizing those who have achieved wealth? Do you procrastinate because you feel unprepared? Each of these is a symptom of the disease called fear of poverty. The cure begins with self-analysis. You must put yourself on trial. Ask direct questions and demand honest answers. Remember, you are both the judge and the jury. Here is a powerful exercise. Stand before a mirror and declare aloud, I refuse to be a slave of poverty. I demand riches in every form, financial, spiritual, mental, and material. My destiny is abundance. Say it until you believe it. Say it until the voice of fear grows silent. You may laugh and think this is foolish, but let me tell you a secret. Every great leader, every self-made millionaire, every inventor who changed the world, used the power of affirmation to command his own mind. Words repeated with belief become laws within the subconscious. So I ask you, what commands are you giving your mind every day? When you complain about bills, when you say, "I can't afford it," you are programming your subconscious to accept poverty. But when you declare, "I will find a way," you are programming your mind for riches. Understand this clearly. Poverty is not your master. Fear is not your ruler. You are the master of your thoughts, and therefore the master of your destiny. But mastery requires vigilance. Fear will return again and again, testing your resolve. It will appear when an unexpected expense arrives, when a business deal fails, when others criticize your ambition. In those moments, you must stand firm and say, "I will not bow to fear." Ask yourself this: when difficulties come, do I shrink in fear, or do I rise in courage? You see, courage is not the absence of fear. Courage is acting in spite of fear. The man who waits to be fearless before he acts will never act at all. But the man who moves forward with trembling hands and a determined heart discovers that fear loses its power the moment it is faced. Do you see now? Fear is nothing but a shadow, and shadows disappear when exposed to the light of action. So take action. Begin where you are, with what you have. Start small if you must, but start. For in action lies the death of fear. Perhaps you think, "But what if I fail?" Then let me answer you. Failure is temporary, but fear of poverty is permanent unless you defeat it. Failure is a lesson, a stepping stone, a teacher. Fear of poverty is a prison. Which would you rather endure? A moment of failure or a lifetime of chains? Consider this. The richest men in history failed more times than the poor man ever dared to try. The difference was not in opportunity, but in their refusal to let fear dictate their future. Now I ask you, how many chances have you lost because fear whispered, "Don't try"? Think of the ideas you buried, the projects you abandoned, the calls you never made, the investments you postponed. Each lost moment is a grave where your dreams lie buried, and the gravedigger was fear. But here is the good news. The past is dead. You cannot change it. But you can rise today, right now, and declare a new beginning. You can decide that you will no longer be the servant of fear, but the master of your fate. The decision is yours. The power is yours. But the time is now. Have you ever noticed how poverty does not just touch your pocket, but it creeps into your spirit, dimming the light of your soul? Think for a moment. How many dreams have died not because they were impossible, but because someone allowed the fear of poverty to whisper, "You can't afford it"? That whisper is the greatest thief of destiny. And here is the truth you must never forget. Every man and woman who has ever risen to greatness, every leader who ever carved a name in history, had to face this fear head-on. They had to decide, will I remain a servant to the dread of lack, or will I master my mind and demand abundance? Which choice will you make? Pause for a moment and reflect. Do you believe money is scarce, or do you see it as energy, circulating freely, waiting for the bold to claim it? Your answer reveals the state of your mind. And remember, your state of mind is the only thing you truly control. The fear of poverty blinds us to opportunities standing right before our eyes. A man in chains cannot run, and a mind in fear cannot think. Have you ever wondered why two people can look at the same situation, and one sees defeat while the other sees fortune? The difference is not in the situation. It is in the state of mind. If your mind is shackled by the thought, "I may lose everything," you will lose before you even try. But if your mind is set on, "I shall find a way to win," then you have already claimed victory. Which state of mind are you living in today? Consider this. Poverty is not merely a lack of money. It is a lack of vision, a lack of courage, a lack of persistence. Money comes to the one who believes it will come. Poverty clings to the one who expects it. Tell me, which are you expecting? History is filled with those who were born in poverty, yet refused to let it dictate their destiny. Abraham Lincoln rose from a log cabin. Andrew Carnegie began with nothing but hunger in his belly. Yet what separated them from the millions who remained in poverty? It was not luck. It was not chance. It was their refusal to bow before fear. They demanded riches of life, and life obeyed. But listen closely. This choice is not reserved for the giants of history. It is available to you right now. Poverty or riches, two roads, two directions. Which road are your thoughts traveling today? Think carefully, because thought is the starting point of all wealth. If you think poverty, you attract poverty. If you think abundance, you attract abundance. You cannot hold two opposing beliefs at once. You must choose. Will you think in terms of fear or in terms of faith? The fear of poverty disguises itself in many subtle ways. It shows up as hesitation when opportunity knocks. It shows up as envy when others succeed. It shows up as excuses when the time to act arrives. Have you seen these signs in your own life? If so, do not despair. Recognition is the first step to mastery. Now imagine yourself 5 years from today. If you let this fear remain, where will you be? Will you be stronger, freer, happier? Or will you still be repeating the same excuses, watching others pass you by? Let that image strike you hard. Because unless you conquer this fear now, it will conquer you. But what if instead you chose faith? What if you decided that abundance is your birthright? Can you see how different your future would look? The job you didn't dare apply for, the business you didn't dare start, the investment you didn't dare make, all of them would become possible, because fear would no longer be your master. The choice is yours: fear or faith, poverty or riches, excuses or results. Which will you demand of life? Understand this: poverty has no power over the man who knows where he is going. A definite purpose is the shield against fear. When you know what you want, and you are willing to pay the price in effort, discipline, and persistence, then no fear can stop you, not even the fear of poverty. But without a purpose, you will drift, and drifting is the favorite weapon of poverty. A drifting mind is easy prey. It will accept every suggestion of fear, every whisper of doubt, every temptation to quit. That is why I tell you again, fix in your mind a definite purpose. Decide exactly what riches mean to you. Not just money, but spiritual, mental, and material riches. Then burn that purpose into your soul so deeply that no fear can erase it. Ask yourself right now, what would you attempt if you knew you could not fail? What life would you build if you refused to bow to the fear of poverty? Hold that vision firmly and understand, it is not beyond your reach. It is waiting for you as soon as you decide to claim it. Yes, fear will try to stop you. Yes, doubts will arise. But courage is not the absence of fear. It is the decision to move forward despite fear. Each time you take action in the face of poverty's threats, you weaken its hold. Each step of courage is a step toward freedom. Never forget, the world is overflowing with opportunity. There is more wealth, more abundance, more possibility than any one person could ever use in 100 lifetimes. Why then should you accept the crumbs of fear? When the banquet of life is spread before you, do not say, "I will try." Say, "I will." Do not say, "I hope." Say, "I decide." For life responds not to hesitation, but to determination. And here is a secret worth remembering. When you master the fear of poverty, you do not just attract money, you attract confidence, power, influence, and peace of mind. You attract the respect of others, and more importantly, respect for yourself. So I leave you with this challenge. Rise above the whispers of fear. Demand of life not just enough to survive, but enough to thrive. Look poverty in the eye and declare, "You shall not master me." For when you do, you will discover the greatest of all riches, the knowledge that you are free. And let me close with these words from my heart. Poverty may test you, but it cannot define you. Fear may chase you, but it cannot chain you. Unless you allow it. Choose faith. Choose courage. And you will find that abundance was waiting for you all along.